Hey everyone, Tiago here. Today, we're going to talk about something exciting. If you love PC gaming with your powerful GPU, or even gaming on different consoles like the PlayStation 5, you probably have a PlayStation 5 controller. And today, we're going to talk about one of the best ones that I've tried. And trust me, I've tried a lot of them. This is going to be the AIM controller. This is going to be the PS5 version. I'm going to go through all of the features, basically all of the different customizations that you can do, and what makes this better than a standard PlayStation controller. So after buying so many of these AIM controllers myself, like I fell in love with the paddle system. That was the first thing that got me. Recently, I decided to partner with them and they sent me this to review, and also a really cool code. I'm going to put it down below, code classical. That's going to give you right now the sale is incredible. It's one of the best that I've seen. And it's even though they sent me one, I may even buy another one. That's how much I really like these. Code classical, and I'm going to put the affiliate link down below. So the first important thing, this is a PlayStation 5 controller. What I mean by that, AIM controllers use an OEM real genuine PlayStation 5 controller, and the DualSense is already a pretty spectacular controller out of the box. It has the the adaptive triggers. It has many things that make it different than any other controller on the market compared to the Xbox controller and even the previous PlayStation 4 controllers. The PlayStation 5 controller is fantastic. And after it's basically tuned up like a racehorse like this, it becomes something really out of this world. So first, we're going to talk about the face of the controller. I'm going to tell you what different customizations you can actually do with AIM controllers. Then we'll talk about the top, of course, and then the back. So let's start with the face of the controller. Let's start with the thumbsticks. These are kind of hiding something really cool. They're Hall effect thumbsticks. Anytime I talk to anybody, even like a casual gamer, about controllers, they always mention either their controller has some type of stick drift or somebody's controller that they know has stick drift. Not these bad boys. These are Hall effects, so that diminishes the chances of stick drift by a huge percentage, and they feel really cool. They're a lot. I'm also going to let you hear the controller throughout the video because you'll see this is a very satisfying controller in terms of the tactility and how it feels in your hand. You can feel, even when you click them, very satisfying click on this thumbstick on both Hall effect sticks, and they're going to be fantastic for gaming. Buy one from AIM controllers in the box. If you select the Hall effects, and they have different options if you just want standard potentiometers. If you do select Hall effects, you get this cool little card. You can calibrate them. They come calibrated already, but if you ever want to calibrate them, you can do that as well. And then something else really cool about the thumbsticks is that you're also going to be able to remove and adjust the height. They just pop out, and in the box you'll get different heights, and you can even buy from them like the different tops if you want. So that's like really cool. Being able to adjust them, that's a big practicality thing, because if you have a regular DualSense, for example, you're stuck with whatever thumbstick you have in there unless you open it up and swap it. This one, you don't have to open it up. You just literally do this. Look, 1 second, and then it slots in very securely. So that's very cool. And if you notice, the base I chose to be a different color than the thumbstick itself, than the top piece. You can do that, so you can put like Xbox thumbsticks on here, and all different types of shapes and colors, and it looks good aesthetically. And you can also find the one that fits in your hand. Like for example, some people like to have a taller right stick for aiming in like Call of Duty or something like that. Something else that's really cool on the face of this controller, and I'm not just talking about the really cool aesthetics. I mean, this, you can see that awesome design. This is going to be part of their new sort of metallic series. Looks incredible. Also have classical technology written on the side. You can have it engraved like this, either on one side or the other one. You can put, whatever you want, like your gamer tag or something like that. The buttons are a really cool feature of this controller. Now, obviously, you can see I chose this nice color blue. You can choose a variety of different colors as well. You can even have the standard DualSense color scheme if you don't want to jazz it up this much. But I think this looks really cool. And these are going to be the digital buttons. So I'm going to let you hear them. They're going to have a much more tactile feel and very responsive. And they sound really cool as well. So they have a really, really good solid response. It doesn't feel mushy or anything like that, like maybe you would get with a typical membrane button. Even though the PlayStation 5 DualSense already has a pretty good feel, these really take it to the next level. And similarly, the D-pad right here has the same tactility. Very cool. You can hear it as well. Sounds really, really nice. Of course, since this controller has like all what they call the digital, elements like the face buttons, the D-pad, you have of course your bumper and the triggers, which we're going to talk about soon. When you shake it around, you're going to hear those moving around a little bit, and that's completely normal. Every aim controller and other companies that do this, it's just the nature of how these parts go together. But everything in there is perfectly assembled, and then when you actually press it, it just sounds and feels really, really nice. It's very tactile. Even if you have headphones on, you feel that tactility, even if you're not actually, listening to it. So, and on the front, you probably notice as well that instead of the PlayStation logo, they have their own AIM branding here, AIM controllers branding with the A. And I think that looks really, really cool and just kind of changes the look a little bit if you're used to the standard DualSense. Makes it look a little bit cooler. But then you have the same functionality with the microphone, and then you have your mute button as well. Whatever you have on the standard DualSense, you're going to have in here as well. Unless you want to switch out an option, like for example, the rumbles, as they call it. Some people like to take them out for FPS games, and you can take out the vibration or the rumbles. It makes the controller lighter. Here, I opted to keep it because I think Sony does a good job with the haptic feedback and the sort of rumbles that they have. And then the faceplate in terms of the design, we kind of touched on a little bit. But I chose this one because it looks really, really cool. I always love this design. But you can do whatever you want on the faceplate. You can even change the touchpad. And obviously, just because you bought it like this, and let's say you wanted to change the color, right? Normally, you would have to what? Buy a new controller, right? Go and buy a new PlayStation 5 controller. It's what they call a snap panel. You don't need any tools or anything. And you can see the controller is now bare. So you just swapped it out. And then in like a few seconds, you can take it out and reinstall it very, very easily. You can do that on both sides. You can also do it to the touchpad. There's two little magnetic pieces right on the top there. And then you see the touchpad right down here. To change the look of it, you can do whatever you want. Probably wouldn't recommend playing without the faceplate just because maybe dust will get in there. But it looks kind of cool. It looks like a cyborg controller. And even the green touchpad, I'm seeing that if you do a green touchpad with this blue scheme, it looks pretty cool as well. So then to put everything back, you literally just snap it back in place. It's a snap panel. It's magnetic, so it stays very secure. This would never come out accidentally. It's in there so well. You just have to put your nail in it and just kind of like pop it off. So that's something like pretty amazing. As much as we like the performance on the controllers, the aesthetics, I mean, I would say maybe even more people kind of look to the aesthetics as a really important thing because, we're not all going to be Call of Duty professionals, but we can all enjoy something that looks really cool and feels really good in the hands as well. These snap panels are very, very unique, and they add a tremendous amount of customizability to the controller after you've bought it. So you don't have to go and necessarily buy a whole new design. You can just swap it out. Same thing with the thumbstick if you get the adjustable thumbsticks, and they have different options as well. So next, let's talk about the top of the controller and basically the bumpers and triggers. I'm going to let you listen to them. So that's going to be their digital bumper and their digital trigger system. You can tell it's a mouse click, extremely tactile. Like you can't ask for better than this. Amazing. Listen to that. And it feels incredible. And then the triggers as well. You have a very similar little snap. Obviously, because of the way the triggers are, it's a little bit different actuation, and it feels really nice. So for games like Call of Duty and FPS games, this is going to give you sort of that instant actuation. You don't have to go very deep at all, and you get the satisfying, little mouse click, which is really cool. And then something else that's super unique and why I like these, the DualSense, like I mentioned previously, this is a DualSense, a genuine DualSense internally. And one of the coolest things about the DualSense, the trigger system. In some games, you want that full trigger pull. If you're playing a lot of PlayStation 5, exclusive games that are designed to give you the adaptive haptic feedback, as they call it. Let's say if you just do these triggers, they're great for FPS games, but you lose that. But not in this controller. You see the little tab in the back on both of them. You can just simply, you can do it in game, very easy to do. You can just pull it, and all of a sudden, the adaptive mechanism all of a sudden you have your normal triggers back like a normal controller. The bumper will still stay tactile, but that doesn't matter because the games all use the same actuation of the bumper. The important thing will be the triggers. So if you're somebody who doesn't like the clicky triggers, or you want to play a PlayStation 5 like single player game that takes advantage of the full trigger pull, or you want to play a racing game that you need to have like that modulation of the brake and the gas, you can do that at the flick of a button. So that's something that you don't really see very often on controllers, especially custom controllers like this. It's either you do the clicky triggers or you have no clicky triggers, and you would need two controllers to do what this one does. So that's a very good tech feature, but it's also a very good value because you have all this stuff built into the controller that it can kind of like keep having a longer life, both with the choosing the triggers. So whatever game you play is going to be fine. And then obviously with switching out the faceplates and everything. And then obviously with the Hall effect sticks, which are going to last a lot longer than traditional potentiometers, just because of the lack of stick drift that bothers a lot of people with controllers. As we continue to head down towards the back, you're going to see something very obvious. This is not a standard back. And perhaps this is going to be the hallmark feature for many people, and that's going to be their paddle system. Look at this. Now, I've tried controllers from every single custom controller company, and I consider these to be the absolute best paddle system on any controller. Period. I mean, listen to the tactility first of all. You can hear how fast it's like little firecrackers. And imagine when you're playing, it feels like it sounds when you're playing. It's not like one is heavy and one is light. They're all almost perfectly tuned. That's why, initially I really liked the AIM controllers because you look at the build quality and sort of the tech that they've put in this, and whoever's behind it, it's like, they're an enthusiast. Like they like this type of stuff. I like taking apart controllers and messing around and building computers. So I respect when something is done. Like somebody probably stood there for a long time testing these out and trying different paddles. So that's very impressive. And obviously aesthetically, I mean, that looks incredible. Is that not the coolest paddle system? Looks like Spider-Man. These like spider action. This actually is the Spider Action V3. And the color scheme at least looks like Spider-Man, but these are the Spider Action V3. It's absolutely incredible. And I even have an older AIM controller here that also has one of their previous versions, and it sounds and feels just as good to me. And then this is just an older version of the AIM controller. This one looks and feels incredible, and obviously you have the grip on the side. That's another hallmark of the Pro controller, if you will. This grip you can get it in red, or if you just want it, in black or no grip. So you have different options there, and the grip feels really, really nice. And I've been playing with this controller a lot. They typically last really well. It's a very well-made, like rubberized material. With the paddle themselves, you can remap them as well. So let's say usually people will remap, let's say the lower one to X if that's your jump button. Maybe right will be the O, so that's like your crouch or the button that you roll or something like that. Then you can do square and triangle on top. You can remap them to different things. It takes a few seconds. You remap it and they're not static. You can get that option where you remap it. So some people's hands may be different. You may be more comfortable reaching for the top, for example, for certain moves. You may play a different game that requires whatever else, a different hand position or something like that. So that's a really, really cool feature. Now, you can only have one set of mapping at a time, and you can remap it as you choose, but it doesn't have profiles or anything like that. It doesn't have profile 1, 2, and 3. It doesn't have that capability. but you can just, remap them on the fly. Very simple to do. And I'm going to leave my coupon code down below because I have partnered with AIM controllers, and I think the deal now is the best one that I've ever seen. Like, seriously, like this controller here with all of these options. And remember, they run a lot of sales throughout the year, but the one now is definitely the best one that I've seen. And I'm not just saying that because I'm making a review on this. Like, genuinely, that's really, really true. Like, this one typically with every single option, Hall effects and everything, it's almost a $400 controller. It's like 390 something. But that's before you apply their coupons and the codes. My code, for example, classical, it does whatever the best code that they have currently, that's ongoing. And right now it's almost like 50%. So this is like $189. Now, I own more than like 10 AIM controllers, probably even more between PlayStation 4, Xbox, and PlayStation 5. Like, I have a bunch of their controllers, and this is the first one that I've partnered with them with, that they sent me to review. But I mean, I would buy this sucker every day at $189 plus whatever shipping and tax. But that's what this comes out to with the deal that they're running now. Obviously, when you're watching this video, it may change. It may be 200 something. And especially with these type of options, a lot of times it's like over 300. So the deals now are definitely very, very good. Like, if you look at the price of custom controllers, AIM controllers, they're extremely competitive, and they're not only do they have features that other places don't have, the price is really, really exceptional. And obviously, that leads us, there's going to be the big point that people always ask about. That's going to be, the warranty and customer service and everything like that. So the interesting thing is that, I've been a customer of theirs. Like I said, I have numerous controllers. And so I've been able to see sort of the sales side and the shipping side. First, the shipping times are definitely pretty fair for a custom controller. Obviously, if you get one of their pro models that are like pre-built, they come a little bit faster. And when you customize it like this, it takes a few weeks usually. It's nothing crazy. I never had to wait like over a month, for example. Sometimes you have to wait that long with some custom controller companies. And you can also get what they call speedy aim, where you do have to pay a little bit extra, but then you get the controller a lot faster. They like pretty much prioritize it. Which is pretty much what some of these, what the companies do. And they have a lifetime warranty on the parts that they modify on the controller itself. Obviously, some things won't be covered, like things, I think at least from what I've seen, is probably one of the best in the business. I mean, they have a lifetime warranty on the controller, on the parts that they modify. Now, not everything is included, so you do have to read it to see what is and what isn't. If it's something like, obviously it is included, like when you first get the controller, you're going to have a certain time period. If something's wrong, you just ship it back to them. They have a repair center that they'll repair it, replace the controller, whatever it is, and they're definitely very good with that. But let's say if it's a long time after you've had the controller and you've had one of the covered items in their lifetime warranty, and they're certainly really good about that as well. And obviously, one more thing that we have to talk about this: if you're going to charge it, like this isn't going to fit in the traditional like DualSense charger, like the stock Sony one. That's why they sell chargers like these. Basically, the controller has a charging USB-C port on the top, and it's going to charge like this. Just because of the paddle system and the way it's a little bit thicker, that's the only difference that it, and sort of that to have that housing there. It just makes it a little bit thicker, and with the paddles, it won't fit on that device. But most custom controllers that have paddle systems, they don't fit on the custom one anyway. But this looks really cool. You just basically plop it down in the controller, charges upside down. So you can still have, and this one's really nice because it's actually branded with the A there, with the AIM controller. And it just connects to a USB power, normally. So the code is classical, and I'm going to put the affiliate link down below. That way you can get a really, really good deal. With these type of options, like you're not going to find a controller like at the prices when they have these coupon codes and the sale anywhere else with this type of build quality, lifetime warranty. Like it's really, really crazy. It's no wonder I bought so many of these before reaching this point. This is what I consider to be the best one that I own, just because of look at it, the design and Hall effects and all the features, very, very incredible. So I'm going to leave the affiliate link. I am partnered with AIM controllers. I'm going to leave it down below with my code as well. You guys take a look. Let me know if you have any questions. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.